Episode 178. Ever since Senior Song lost to Han Li, he'd challenge him to a rematch almost every other week. But why would Han Li ever reveal his true strength? Naturally, he refused every time. If this were back in Yellow Maple Valley, Senior Brother Song wouldn't have been so easily brushed off. But luckily, there were plenty of other formidable cultivators around, plenty of targets to go around. After Song Meng failed to get a response from him a few times, he lost patience and went looking for someone else, which finally let Han Li breathe a sigh of relief. So when he heard the other party's final remark, Han Li could only force a bitter smile. There was no way he'd dare to pick up that thread. But now Han Li found himself growing curious about the guests with Li Huayuan. After all, Song Meng had used the word discuss, which meant the people inside were almost certainly core formation cultivators as well. Just as he was about to probe Song Meng for information, the tightly shut door suddenly swung open, and several male and female cultivators emerged from within. Li Huayuan and his wife were seeing them off at the front and back, bowing with clasped hands.
All core formation cultivators. These 4 men and 3 women, every single one of them had unfathomable cultivation.
Han Li and Song Meng dared not block the path. They quickly parted to either side and stood with hands clasped, keeping out of the way. Li Huayuan spotted Han Li at a glance. He gave a slight smile, unconcerned. As for the other cultivators, most of them just swept their gaze past him. After all, a mid-foundation establishment cultivator was hardly worth their attention. But when a tall, perfectly proportioned female cultivator with a veil covering her face swept her gaze past Han Li, she suddenly froze mid-step. Her bright, autumn-like eyes flickered with a trace of an unreadable emotion.
Fairy Nan, have you seen my disciple before?
When the other cultivators noticed something off about this female cultivator, they couldn't help but look over with mild surprise. Li Huayuan, even more puzzled, asked directly. The name Fairy Nangong hit Han Li's ears like a thunderclap, his heart lurching as a storm of conflicting emotions churned within him. He barely kept his expression under control, but his gaze still drifted involuntarily toward the female cultivator.
No, it's just that your disciple looks very much like an old friend I haven't seen in years.
The strange light in Fairy Nangong's eyes faded, and her gaze turned cold and distant once more. Those words left a bitter, astringent taste in Han Li's mouth.
What a coincidence.
Li Huayuan took another look at Han Li, his expression as still as a placid lake, betraying nothing unusual. The other cultivators exchanged glances, their faces all wearing an so that's how it is expression. But whether any of them actually believed it, well, heaven only knew. As for this Fairy Nangong, she knew her words would be hard to swallow, but she offered no excuse. She simply drifted away. The remaining guests cast a meaningful glance at Han Li before taking their leave from Li Huayuan and his wife. As for Li Huayuan, the smile on his face gradually faded once all the guests had been seen off.
Come inside. I have questions for you.
Han Li saw this and inwardly groaned, but he had no choice but to comply. The young mistress, after offering a few soft words of comfort to Han Li, followed them inside. When Han Li stepped into the living room, Li Huayuan was seated in a chair, looking lost in thought. That Xinyang sat close beside him.
You know Nangong Wan of the Concealing Moon sect?
Han Li fell silent for a moment, weighing the matter in his mind. He knew there was no brushing off the topic of Nangong Wan, so he simply nodded.
I have indeed met Senior Nangong once.
Li Huayuan was somewhat surprised that Han Li admitted it so readily, and his expression softened as a result.
What happened? Can you tell me about it?
Han Li's words stirred a deep curiosity in his master's wife. Nangong Wan had flatly denied knowing Han Li, but now this disciple of hers claimed to recognize him. There had to be a story there. Li Huayuan, after hearing his wife's words, nodded and fixed his gaze on Han Li, clearly just as eager to learn the truth behind this matter.
Please forgive me, master and mistress, but this matter involves some personal affairs of Uncle Master Nangong, and this disciple once promised never to divulge it. I beg your understanding.
Han Li had already prepared a perfectly legitimate excuse, and he declined with a very tactful tone. Hearing this from Han Li, Li Huayuan and his wife exchanged a look of surprise.
Since you've already given your word, I naturally won't let you break your promise. However, I must offer you one piece of advice. That, Miss Nangong, you'd best keep your distance. The people of Concealing Moon Sect are masters of charm techniques. I'm afraid you might fall under their spell without even realizing it. Seeing you clear-headed and articulate now, this master can finally set his mind at ease.
Han Li felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Relaxed, he quickly voiced his agreement. Seeing Han Li's respectful demeanor, Li Huayuan's last trace of displeasure faded entirely. He even went so far as to kindly offer guidance on Han Li's cultivation problems. Han Li listened with rapt attention, not letting a single word from Li Huayuan slip by. After a long pause, Li Huayuan casually asked Han Li about his cultivation insights. Satisfied with the answer, he then dropped an unexpected question.
Han Li, I have a personal matter I need you to handle. Are you willing?
A personal matter? Master, if you have any tasks, please just instruct me. This disciple will do his utmost to complete them.
Li Huayuan was pleased by Han Li's immediate, unwavering response. He rose to his feet and paced a few steps across the room.
It's not really that dangerous. I just need you to act as a bodyguard for a while and keep someone safe.
Protect someone's safety?
Actually, I originally planned to send your fourth senior brother. But recently, I happened to hear people talking about how you've killed quite a few demonic cultivators. That really surprised your master and your mistress, you know. Who would have thought a real powerhouse came out of my Li Huayuan sect? So yes, I'll be sending you. That puts my mind at ease.
Besides, your fourth senior brother has spent his whole life in Greenwave Cave and barely set foot in the mortal world. He's sorely lacking in worldly experience. Even from that angle, you're the only one for the job. After all, the people we're protecting this time are mortals from the secular world.
Han Li, hearing the praise from Li Huayuan and his wife, smiled with a hint of embarrassment, looking rather shy. Still, being sent to protect a mortal, Han Li kept his composure on the surface, but inwardly he couldn't help feeling a bit puzzled.
After all, what danger could a mortal possibly face? Sending any qi condensation disciple would be more than enough. Why send a foundation establishment cultivator like me?
The person I told you to protect is the descendant of a former senior brother of mine. He saved my life, a debt I can never repay. But his only son was a mortal without a spirit root, so he could only remain in the mortal world. So after he passed away, I made a vow. As long as I live, I will absolutely guarantee the safety and prosperity of his descendants. So for 100 years, my quiet support kept that family wealthy and honored for generations. Whenever danger arose, I had already cleared it away.
Li Huayuan paused here, as if recalling the past, but then his expression turned serious as he said,
But a few days ago, I received word that the 6 Devil Dao sects might send some low-ranking disciples into our mortal realm. Their goal is to purge certain mortals we've been secretly backing, trying to cut off the supply of common materials our 7 sects rely on. And since the demonic sect will likely know of my connection to this family, I need someone to go and protect them. Of course, if the demonic cultivators don't cause them any trouble, that would be even better.
Han Li nodded solemnly after hearing this, signaling his understanding.
All right, I'll write a letter to the current head of this household, explaining your identity and situation. He's the only one who knows about my dealings with his ancestor. Also, I've already cleared it with them. This period counts as an external assignment, so you don't need to worry about any disciplinary action. This jade slip contains the family's detailed information. Take it, go pack your things now, and set out tomorrow morning. Best to avoid any delays.
Understood.
At this moment, Han Li sat aboard the Divine Wind boat, racing at full speed through the sky, several dozen zhang above the ground. He wasn't heading for the Yu capital, the mortal city he was meant to protect later. Instead, he flew straight toward the Yuanwu kingdom. Han Li used this window of relative freedom to first keep his appointment with Qi Yunxiao, and to see if that array master could repair the damaged formation that might be an ancient teleportation array.
If the 7 sects suffer a decisive defeat, this will be my final means of escape. Otherwise, once those 6 demonic sects free up their hands, I'll be left to scrape out a miserable existence under their endless pursuit. What time would I have left for cultivation?
Han Li figured the round trip would take just over 20 days if nothing went wrong, well within the window for Li Huayuan's mission. That was why he felt comfortable making the trip. The meeting place Qi Yunxiao had arranged with Han Li was a tea house in a small city within Yunwu country. According to him, this tea house was opened by one of his servants, so once Han Li arrived, he could naturally get in touch with Qi Yunxiao. Han Li tore across the road like a bolt of lightning. Even when he crossed paths with a few cultivators, he brushed past them without a word, showing no interest in conversation. After flying day and night for 7 or 8 days, Han Li finally reached the city called Golden Horse. To avoid causing a commotion, Han Li put away his magic tool a few li from the small town, descended, and then strolled leisurely toward the city gates. Though Golden Horse City wasn't large, the city gates were bustling with people coming and going, a lively scene indeed. Han Li's features were unremarkable, and his clothes had been swapped for a worn-out scholar's robe, making him blend in perfectly with the crowd entering the city. He simply followed the flow of people through the gates. The tea house was well known enough that Han Li found its location easily after asking just one child. When Han Li stood before the so-called Clear Spring Tea House, he studied it with keen interest. The tea house wasn't large, just 3 rooms connected in a single row of bungalows. But before Han Li even stepped inside, the rich aroma of tea rushed forth to greet him.
Though I know little of the tea ceremony, I can sense faint spiritual qi within its aroma.
Han Li's mind stirred, and without further hesitation, he stepped inside. 3 rooms stood in a row, 1 large, 2 small, and every seat was filled with clusters of tea drinkers. In fact, with no empty seats left, 7 or 8 patrons of varying attire stood quietly by, waiting their turn. The tea house was packed, yet not a single voice was raised above a murmur. Most of these guests had their eyes lightly closed, savoring the tea before them with quiet enjoyment. Only a handful of people muttered under their breath. On the main wall of the central hall, a massive yellow paper over 10 feet wide was pasted high up, bearing the bold, flowing characters, 1 pot per person per day, impossible to miss. Han Li found the sight rather amusing.
This is the first time I've heard of a food and drink business limiting how much people can eat and drink.
Han Li didn't bother dwelling on it. He swept his gaze across the room, then promptly made his way toward a man who looked like the proprietor in the corner. This had to be the tea house owner, around 40 years old, with a thin mustache and an exceptionally shrewd look about him. At that moment, he was behind the counter, head down, clicking away at an abacus, occasionally turning to glance at a ledger,